It's time to step up your Villa games, both attack and defense, as when you're attacking you need to find the issues behind the defense setup. So if you know how to defend, that is halfway knowledge of how to attack. With this being said, let's jump immediately to the video. Villa is a map that is considered to be defended sided mostly because it is very hard to impossible to roam clear. Therefore, putting a constant vertical pressure or just pressure from another side as an attacker is very hard. Please let me know down in the comment section if there was any code that I have used but you're not familiar with it. Let's defend games in Aviator, and I will definitely recommend you to bring at least 2 deployable shields, if not more. So Goy is recommended pick. Having intel around 90 or the top red stairs is recommended. So Maestro and Valkyrie for these reasons are another great picks. As SoloQ, contesting trophy and statuary push is recommended. If attackers are not doing that kind of a push, you can from the top red stairs deny the study push, which is pretty important for the study push that attackers may do. Since it was already mentioned, expect 2 kind of pushes, either from the study and the main entrance, or from the Statuary Trophy and the 90 windows. For the 10 reinforcements and default setup, you will need to reinforce full walls facing study. Reinforce the vault walls so you will be able to play in the vault. You can deny both pushes from the vault. Now I will recommend you to reinforce the triple statuary walls to help your roamers out there. And finally, we will have 2 more reinforcements that will face long hallway, both edges. The objective walls are enabling you to play in the objective. The last 2 ones will force takers to get deep into the hallways so you can punish them. Speaking about that, make sure to have a barbed wire by the main stairs, and 1 more on the long hallway facing main stairs. These 2 are mostly used against the study push, as the other push will be denied or stalled by the roamers. There will be 2 feet level angles toward the long hall. So with a pair of the barbed wires, you will stop attackers pushing you from that hallway side. The other feet level will be great if your roamers are pushed back from the statuary push, so you can contest these attackers as well from the games. Important note to take is that these feet levels are one-sided, therefore, when you're proning, the attacker cannot see you nor contest you. Make a few vertical holes, one that will deny the main stairs push, another one that will see the piano art from the Aviator, and a few more in the wall to see in the living. You can have angles from the long toward the main entrance if you wish so. As for the positions, you need to have one in the vault and possibly one behind the bar, or generally in the game, and that is a very strong position, because you can see all the way toward the zombie. If the vault gets opened, play on this side of the bar. You need to have someone by the top main stairs as well as 2 roamers. Contesting the top main stairs is very crucial for this defense. Having red stairs in control is also mandatory because from there you can contest both attack pushes. In the higher MMR, you will see the study vault being open for 2 reasons: to contest the study players on the top main stairs, but as well as to deny hard breaches on these walls. But instead of this wall, reinforce a wall between the objectives so you can safely deny Aviator from the games, and make head level angles for smoke canisters or C4s. For Statuary and Trophy, you can consider this defense as mirror defense than we did previously. Roamers will have a utility to play around the Aviator and games, whilst you are heavily contesting Astronomy. And you can now make the parallel with the previous defense. The Astronomy was the top main stairs, wherein roamers were by the Statuary and Trophy. In the rank, you'll be most likely pushed heavily from the bedroom and vertically. With all this mentioned, we'll reinforce the triple walls from the statuary toward the bedroom. 2 walls will be facing Astronomy from the trophy. These 2 walls are important to reinforce because otherwise, attackers on the Astro window will have easy time seeing most of the trophy, and the moment they open up the statuary walls, you won't be able to play anywhere anymore. These 2 walls will secure you to be able to play at least in the trophy, in these situations. 5 more reinforcements. Use 1 from the toilet toward the closet, so attackers cannot directly deal with the toilet player. You can stall slightly beat attackers on the toilet, but also attackers cannot have melee holes toward the top as the stairs. Rest 4 reinforcements can be used for roamers on the other side. Some teams like to reinforce the double benches wall, against the wolf window in exchange of reinforcing the game's walls. Aviator walls being reinforced for roamers is a must. Again, contesting red stairs is your biggest priority, aside from Astro, if the Astro push is happening. And that is 10 reinforcements. For the barbed wires, definitely have one, if not two, by the Astro stairs, so anyone around the Astro desk cannot be pushed from the Astro stairs. And preferably have a player by the Astro stairs, just for the sake of crossfires, and not letting attackers to even go toward the stairs. You really don't need somewhere else a barbed wire, but a deployable shield over here, or by the globe, is definitely recommended, due to this desk being distractible from below with an explosion. Putting a shield next to the desk will just make that both desk and shield will be destroyed, with just one explosive. You'll need a rotation between Astro and the trophy, and you can have feet level angles from the toilet toward the closet. Don't forget to make a rotation for your roamers in the Aviator endgames. Oh, and I forgot. Any barbed wire placement in this video can be replaced with a trap operator such as Melusi, Legion, Ella, and etc. For the solo plays, playing again in the Aviator and later on by the red is totally recommended. Let's talk about dining and kitchen, and what you can expect from the enemies is heavy vertical push, them opening up the vertical angles toward the objectives, and then pushing from the laundry for the plant. That being said, as a solo player, the best way will be to play from the top, as even for the bedroom you can deny that push, if they ignore you on the top. For the stack, we'll have 4 reinforcements with the objective, 2 facing laundry, 1 middle wall facing China, so in the late round you can play in the China against the laundry if attackers got the top floor control, and the final wall will be facing pantry stairs. We will use 3 walls for the roamers on the top, and you have guessed correctly, it is going to be statuary toward the bedroom walls. These walls are essential to reinforce, as if attackers do not try to open them up, they'll be tunneled through the toilet and the bedroom to statuary doors. And that is so many angles for them to play against. Astro walls do not need to be reinforced, but the same rotation needs to be put there. The reason behind it is really not necessary to deny the attackers coming to the top floor, as eventually you will lose it, but contest them from the Astro and the trophy as much as possible. The other 3 reinforcements are really up to you. You can reinforce memo walls if you don't want to play in the memo. You can use barbed wires for both basement stairs, whereas a Malusi's whoop whoop should be put by the Astro door toward the toilet. For the rotations and angles below, open up the China to dining walls rotation, and you can open up the top memo to jungle angles. So from the trophy you can see memo. You need to have one player around the kitchen corner spot. It would be great to have someone close to the laundry door, so you force attackers to do the top floor push. Playing behind the dining bomb or by the dining laundry wall is also nice. You have 3 people off the side, having 2 on the top and 1 possibly around the first floor. Floating around is recommended, to stop the horizontal push, or just to call it out. You might see sometimes a horizontal extended hold in the higher MMR, just to be able to play away from the objective and away from the vertical angles from the Astro, toilet and bedroom that the attackers can get when they get the top floor control. And for the last defense, library and living. The question is, what can you expect in the ranked? Well, that side is really not usually paid, so I really cannot tell you, but my 2 cents is that you can expect a vertical push and then the library push. In the Pro League, living push happens more often from the clock as well as from the memo, and the top floor, but that requires more coordination. Having said this, we will use 4 reinforcements of the piano's hallway wall facing library and gallery, and then 2 more from the living facing clock. Using rest 4 will supplement the roamers game on the top. Games and Aviator, having 1 reinforcement by the vault, 2 games walls, and 1 Aviator wall. Open up the body level angles toward the study, just how I explained in the first defense. You will need a lot of more vertical angles toward the objective, especially toward the library. You can repeat the living ones from the vault. You will definitely need a deployable shield on the top main stairs, because losing top control means the round is lost unless attackers have 30 seconds remaining. Hang a barbed wire on the first floor toilet as well as the bike room is really recommended, just against a quick vault in the window and a rush push. Spearboat rush pushes. Be worried about the hatch. Amaru could yeet from the basement and start to plan by this fall. And this happened in the Pro League. For the player positions, have one by the gallery, one around the memo, and then you need 3 people on the top. One by the top main stairs, shield, and the other 2 around games, Aviator, and the vault. And you need to have a rotation between the games and Aviator, which I forgot to mention. Thank you for watching this video and staying with me for this long, and thanks all the patrons and YouTube members for making this video available. If you want to learn all the basics and advanced things about the siege, make sure to give me a like, subscribe and click notification bell to get all notifications from my channel. Make sure to give me feedback down in the comment section below.